More on the China crackdown, the latest, and the impact on U.S. companies relying on Chinese consumers. Let's bring in Sam Sacks. She's a senior fellow at Yale's Law School, Pol Sci China Center, and a cybersecurity fellow at New America. She also advises U.S. companies on the tech regulatory environment in China. And I keep hearing, Sam, that China and Xi just wants to prove who's boss. And I can't understand whether this is somehow a confrontation with the United States and with privacy, or whether they need to impress upon their own companies, their tech companies over there, who's in charge. Is it both?
I think there are two separate stories here. One of them has nothing to do with the United States, which is you have a number of private tech platforms that have grown increasingly powerful in large part because of the troves of data that they hold. And the party is worried about this. And for a long time, these companies have had free reign, essentially. Although we think the party is always in charge, the reality is there's much more friction. There's a push and pull and a power struggle. And I think now we're seeing Xi Jinping and his leadership step up to say, you operate at the behest of Beijing. That has nothing to do with the United States. Meanwhile, separately but related, I think there's also concern about these tech darlings going to overseas markets rather than listing in Hong Kong or the domestic markets, Shanghai or Shenzhen.
So with what China's doing, the story today based on a lot of companies that we're now putting on the list that we have problems with over in China, is it really any different? Like I'm looking over at it and saying, well, this is what an authoritarianism, when they try and do capitalism, this is what it looks like over there. And I'm looking askance at that. They could probably look back here and say, look, you're doing the same thing to our companies, and it's all about data. Is it different?
Right. You know, it's interesting, right? Because we have two antitrust power moves going on. We've got one in the U.S. under the Biden administration with Lina Khan at the helm of the FTC. And then you have a more aggressive antitrust regulator, State Administration of Market Regulator, SAMR in China, also stepping up. So I think there's been a lot of discussion about how do these two antitrust campaigns compare and interact. The reality is in China, look, Beijing is not going to break up the big tech platforms. That's not on the table. But what is using a number of different domestic regulatory tools to chip away at their power. One of those tools is data security regulation. Another is antitrust, so looking at things like predatory pricing, competitors on the platform, bundling of financial services. I think that these companies, Didi in particular, they have a target on their back, and regulators are using different bullets to chip away at that power.
Sam, if you were to try to get into the mind of the CCP or Xi Jinping, is it about keeping power, authoritarian power over companies, letting them know that, yeah, you're operating and we love you to do well, but when it comes down to it, we're in charge? Or is it just about how much this data is worth? And they're worried. I mean, it seems like it always comes down to money and economics with China. And with us, too, about privacy data falling into the wrong hands. Which is it deep down about money, or is it about control in the political system over there?
It's a combination of factors. I think that let's look at what kind of data these companies have. So think about Didi, right? If a foreign adversary were to get control of that data, you could suddenly start targeting, Chinese government officials where they went. You could figure out geographically sensitive locations, triangulating that with individuals. It's a treasure trove from a foreign intelligence perspective. And I think the Chinese government is wary of having that data fall into the wrong hands. And this is why it was such a big deal that Didi hadn't come into full compliance with domestic data security regulations. So that's number one. Then you think about companies like Tencent, WeChat. Chinese government officials, WeChat is this sort of super app that people communicate with, as well as, hail taxis and shop. If Chinese government officials are using WeChat to do something untoward, think about Xi Jinping's anti-corruption campaign. That's very sensitive, and they don't want that in the hands of a private company. So they want to bring these companies under more central state management, and they want to make clear that, yes, these companies have shareholder interests, but they also have national interests connected to the public under the state. And so they're going to increasingly have to walk a fine line between their shareholder interests and the national interests of the state. That's what the party's trying to signal here.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.